Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Do you have a problem with staying in tune? Do you have a tuner, a guitar tuner? I think you really should do. Let me check my tuning on this guitar. E string is slightly sharp, as you can see here. Oh, it's that E string. Oh, A is slightly sharp. And E. I'm a real stickler for being in tune with my guitar. In fact, one thing someone said on one of my videos is, thank you for being in tune on your videos. Like, this guitar sometimes doesn't stay in tune. You know, when you've got the tremolo, of course, if you accidentally hit it, you're going to go out. It's obviously floating, it's free, it's moving around. I've noticed with this guitar, it's pretty stable, but the nut needs to be lubricated, or that the string can slip in here and that can make it go out of tune or appear to go out of tune. These strings are also a month old, which is always a problem. You need to make sure the strings are fresh because old strings tend to go out of tune and they don't sound as good either, in my opinion. So yeah, tuning is very, very important. And I noticed last night this guitar is quite hard to keep in tune now, especially if you really bend a string. It goes right out. So I need to restring it. But anyway, what kind of tuners do we use? Well, right now I'm using the tuner on the FM3, which obviously is a very nice tuner. You'd hope so on a pedal like that. I love the fact that it's always on. And when I'm playing, if I'm playing like this, I can check what note it is. If you think about it as a beginner, you might like to know that's an F sharp. Well, I guess you really should know what that is. But if you don't, then you can check a note like this. Well, there's an A, there's a B, there's a C. So you can play games with that. You can also practice bending. So here's an A to a B, there's A. And then you can see on the screen when you hit the B. I do that quite a lot, so A to B. So very useful. My friends at Legato sent me a tuner recently, which I featured on my channel. It's this one. And I noted that it's really cool because it's also a metronome. And I haven't seen a tuner that's also a metronome ever. And I think it's very clever. It's great because it's a good practice device. You know, you've always got a metronome with you. Now you might say, well, I have apps on my phone that are tuners metronomes. Yes, and so do I, but I don't really use them because usually I'm using my phone as a phone. Well, not as a phone, but for Facebook or social media. So I'd rather have the tuner and the metronome on the guitar. I don't know, it might just be my thing, but I think it's cool. And I rated this pretty highly before. I think it's a great kind of gift for a beginner. It's very cool. For an experienced player too, I really think everyone would benefit from practicing to a metronome as often as possible. So I really liked this before. But they sent me a new version, and this is the Aaron Short Custom Edition, because look at this. It's made for my height. Very nice of them to do that for me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why it's bigger, but there's some benefits to that. The speaker for the metronome is very loud, and if you want a color screen that's easy to see, then indeed it is very nice. Look at that. I'll just get it to focus for you. That is a very nice screen. So you can easily see if you're in tune. You can easily see what mode you're in. You see it says metronome, sound, or tuner. So metronome mode will give you the click. So you press the button, hold it down to metronome, and then you press play. I'll give you a play of that. Oh, that's loud. Let me turn that off. Whoa, whoa. Okay, so I like that it's loud though. It's not quite as annoying in person. That was right into the microphone. It's good that it's loud because when you're playing, obviously, when you're playing the music, you need to hear that click. So you must have it at a loud volume. Okay, and then the screen, like I said, is good to see. One more mode is the sound mode, which plays the note. This can be great for practice as well. So this is going to play me a G note. Oh, 1 second. I just turned it off. Okay, there's the G. So that's really cool. If you want to practice, you can play that and then you can tune it yourself. that's another really cool tool. Some tuners don't have that. So again, for a student or a beginner, I would suggest playing that reference pitch and then playing your string and then tuning it yourself and then checking to see if you're in tune. This is really good for education. And then you've got the mode, which is obviously just your tuner mode, like that. A very nice sturdy clip, and you're going to clip that on the headstock like this. Let me show you what it looks like. Make sure it's secure so it can pick up the vibrations of the guitar. Or I could even put it on there wherever I want to put it. And it looks like that. So very cool. Again, if you need a big tuner, I totally understand it. I know some people want a big screen, but I think for beginners, this is ideal. It's only 15 bucks and you're getting the tuner and you're getting the metronome and the tone generator. So I think that's really cool. And you're not going to lose it because it's so big, and you can easily see what it says on the guitar. So I'm just tuning right now. That's in tune. So it's very, very easy to see. Let me just mute the microphone while I do it. And there we go. Yeah, sometimes I play the harmonic on the string and not the note itself. So. Okay, so very, very nice. Now, if you do think it's too big for you, I totally get it. But I think it's great because there's two versions. So this is the other version. I'm going to give you a size comparison. Remember, this one does have the black and green, or the kind of orange and black screen, but it's still very visible. And it's about half the, it's less than half the size. It's like kind of half the weight or less. So I'm not sure. I was attracted by the color screen. I think this would be great to have at home to practice with, especially with that loud metronome. And I think this one would be great to have in your gig bag, so you've always got a tuner and that's the important thing, a tuner and a metronome at all times to practice with. There's always those times when you've got, say, 30 minutes to waste before a gig or something. Why not practice with a metronome at that point? That'd be a great opportunity to do it. If you sit there and have the click going, let me just put it on so I can show you what I mean. And then I can test my own timing as well. Let me show you on this one. So I'm going to press play. It says 80 beats per minute. I'm going to put it over here so it's not so loud in the mic. Okay, so you hear that? Now, if you've never used a metronome before, the first beat is louder than the others, so you know where the first beat is. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will basically just go round and round. You can change the speed if you want to play faster or slower. And then you just literally play along and try and stay in time. You can start with a single chord. Then you can strum. I tap my foot as well. I find it helps me keep in time. And even if you move your body as well, listen carefully to the click. Two, three, 4. And even don't play, just count 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe some scales. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. and so on. So I've spoken about this a lot, and don't get me wrong, I'm not telling people what to do. I believe I need to practice with this. That's the whole point. That's why I'm excited about this product. I need to practice with the metronome more. I've had the Soundbrenner that you wear. Very cool. That's one way to practice with that tapping on your wrist or your leg or your body. I've been recording in Logic lately. We've got the version of the Gambler, which is coming out next Friday. Obviously, when I recorded that with my vocal, I had to have the click and I had to sing to it and figure out how to time and phrase the vocal. That's a very important skill. And also is tuning. You know, your tuning and your timing and mine is really, in my opinion, is the most important thing. Or, I mean, obviously you've got to mean what you sing and play, but you need to be able to play in time and you need to be able to play in tune, arguably, in my opinion. This FM3 is really cool. It has a metronome built in. I love it. It's so cool. Same with the tuner. So I essentially have this built into this. Obviously, this is a big, expensive pedal, and this is a small, portable device. So I don't know why other people haven't had this idea. And if they have, please mention in the comments. What a great idea to have a tuner and a metronome in one product. And I'd love to see other companies start to do this, like add more features into the tuner, make more of a general purpose device, still maintain the high quality. I mean, there's higher quality tuners you can buy, right, which are much more expensive, but they don't have these features. I'd love to see more companies incorporate these features. And for now, if you want them, you have to buy these tuners. So I highly recommend that you do. And I think if someone's got a birthday or some kind of occasion coming up, this would be a great gift, because I'll put the link below to Amazon. They're around $15, which is really affordable. And any musician would be glad to have it, because they're going to say, oh, wow, it's a metronome and a tuner. That's cool. And any musician can make use of this. Also on different instruments as well. I was thinking maybe this could be good on larger instruments, you know? I mean, this would look kind of cool on a bass or something. I haven't tried it on an instrument other than a guitar, but I'm sure it should work with those too. Or even if you just use it as a metronome. I mean, metronomes are around this price anyway, so why not? You could even clip this onto a mic stand or something and just have it click as a click track. So I love the products. I think they're great, really affordable, well thought out, nice ideas, and they're nice people. So I'll put a link below to these tuners. This is the Flanger FMT209, and the smaller one is the TM25. Again, lots of people learning guitar right now, and I feel like this is a great gift for them. So yeah, I like to feature, you know, I have things like this on here, which is an expensive pedal. I like to feature things that are affordable, because we're looking for that, right? If we're a beginner, I want to make sure I cover beginners as well. I want to look at some affordable guitars in the future as well. I have done some, but I want to find things that are really amazing value for money. Like I did some Zoom products, amazing value for money for professionals or beginners, absolutely incredible. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Those were the Legato tuners. Information will be below. And until next time, stay tuned. See ya. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to cut this part of the video. So now I'm just going to play a bit of guitar. But yeah, they're pretty cool, cool tuners. Check them out. Anyone who's here? I know I've got people watching. So you can say anything you want now, because I'm going to cut. That was just like a little review, and I'm going to cut that out. So yeah, tell me how you're doing. Tell me if there's any sounds you want to hear on my guitar, because I've got lots of presets here. This is like a Dumble. Sounds so good. That awesome Dumble sound, which you would pay $100,000 for. I'd like to do some comparisons maybe during the week, where I compare the Dumble on this to the Helix and the Kemper, or like just choose an amp that they have and then compare them all in one video. Maybe do like different amps and effects, so I can actually compare them back to back. No, I don't think that. I'm not saying that one unit will become the king, because I don't believe it will. I believe that all these units are good for different things. But I do think it's interesting to compare them and to see which one I personally prefer. Even the individual effects like the wah wah. That's a cool wah wah effect. I like that. So this is the stock Dumble. I do find it a little bit on the bright side. Let me see what I'm set to here. Let me put it up on the screen for anyone that's interested. Here we go. Oh, that's the tuner. Here we go. All right. So, what are the settings here on the amp? Oh, I turned the bass down. I find when the bass is in the center, it's too flubby for me. I don't know. It always just sounds kind of flubby. I guess if you want that sound, but to tighten it up, I like to remove some bass. So the bright switch is on, presence is up a little bit. So yeah, I could bring that down slightly maybe. Yeah, so it's just a nice nice sound, isn't it? It is very bright though. Let me see if I turn the presence and the treble down a bit. It's a quite bright sound. Not that I mind that, but there we go. And the bright switch here is on too. This is really cool because you've got the authentic settings here. You've also got ideal. Now, when you click on this, you get all these other parameters coming. This is crazy. And some people say this is too much, but I like that they're here. For example, like if this amp doesn't have a fat switch, there is now a fat switch. So you can play with that and see what it sounds like. So this is what the amp would sound like authentically from this screen. I think this is great. This is the authentic amp with authentic settings, as the amp would be, and an ideal gives you your ideal settings, which means you can play with all this different stuff if you need to. If you don't need to, then leave it alone. But if you wonder what the ODS sounds like with a fat switch, you can try it out and compare it. Input boost. Pretty subtle, but you know, again, just fun to have. This is the bright switch off. So that's quite an effective bright switch, isn't it? There's definitely an unmistakable sound of this amp. And there's also a depth control. You see, some of these controls are so useful. I've wanted them on other, like my Helix. Someone was saying before that it'd be great to have like a resonance control on every amp, and this is what this basically gives you. It gives you every control on every amp, and it even gives you things like input and output EQ as well on every amp. Power supply settings. You know, again, you might not know what these do. I understand them. I certainly don't. I wouldn't play with them, but I think I would often play authentically, which is really cool. I mean, that sounds great anyway, to be honest with you. In my opinion, sounds very good. I might play with that a little bit to make it tighter. I can use that as it is, but I like the fact I have these settings here and I can change the bright switch cap. I can add in these switches. I can change the high treble, the depth control. Let me try the depth. You hear that? Like more kind of like low end, like bigger sound. So yeah, I really think it's great. I really do. Lots to tweak if you want to, and nothing to tweak if you don't want to. Again, there's the authentic settings. And then you've also got the scenes in here as well. Let me try one of these. Bring the level down a bit. This is going to be that classic kind of driven sound. Just mute my microphone. Pretty cool, and that's just a preset as well. Let me try another one. I'm going to try one more. I've been looking for a really incredible clean tone, like really, just really clean, like super clean. Oh, I've got the Petrucci rig there. That's kind of cool. Let me try the Z. Oh no, not the Z. There's an amp that people say is really kind of famous. Oh, I can't think what's called. Oh, let me try this though. The Texas Clean. Here we go. That's going to be the Mesa Lone Star amp TX. Is that the one? There we go, on clean. Okay. That sounds darker to me. So what you could do is you could think, right, let's try it with a bright switch. Well, the bright switch is on. You could say, let me try it with a depth. But I don't want to, actually. I want less bass. I'm going to bring the bass down. And that kind of cleans it up for me. And then I could think, right, it's got too much kind of gain. So I could start with the input drive and bring that down and compensate by bringing the level up. Like that. Just make sure I don't clip the output there. And then you've also got the input trim, so you can also play with that if you want to adjust the gain there. You might, if you feel like it's breaking up too quickly, although I don't. If I did, I could bring that down and it hits it even less harder. So you get less, so I can get a really kind of tight, clean with no breakup. I know most people are often looking for the edge of breakup sound, but I actually like it with no breakup on my super clean sound for this kind of thing. You know, for me, I don't want it to break up at all on my cleanest tone. So I would bring this down and bring this down as well. And then it's going to hit up much softer like this. So when you dig in, you hear that? It doesn't break up at all. I love that. You know, I love these controls. I remember a friend of mine said to me years ago, the great thing with these modelers is that they're almost better than an amp because you can do things that you can't do on an amp. If you own this amp, you cannot go in there and turn down the input trim. Maybe you could find a workaround or something, but you know, you can't add, well, no, it's not that you can't. Of course, you could add a fat switch if you knew how to, but someone like me that wouldn't know how to, I can just come to this screen and play with those settings that wouldn't be there on the actual amp itself. And that's a great thing about this. So I basically made a new amp. And that's cool, because now I can really dig in. And it doesn't kind of distort at all. Let me just turn the delay off. And let me just bring the presence down. So make sure I'm not clipping it. Yeah. Mute my microphone. So I had some compression there, which you could hear, but I mean, it didn't break up, did it? If I put it back to how it was, actually, I can, this is cool too. I can just reset the amp block. Reset block. This is how it was when I loaded it up. So if I play this that hard, can you hear that? It's distorting already. Now some people like that sound, and I do too, for my secondary sound. For my main sound, I just want it super clean. There's a ton of reverb there, but yeah, so it took me a long time to realize this. I would load up an amp and think, well, it's kind of breaking up again. If I want that Hendrixy thing, I want that sound. But if I don't want that, the thing about me is I'm so used to playing acoustic all the time, and acoustic doesn't break up, does it? Well, it's, at least not the woods that I have on my acoustic guitars. They're very punchy, and I think I'm looking for that sound in an amp, and I'm not going to get that sound like this. That's not the sound I'm used to hearing from my acoustic. I'm used to hearing a sound like this with the drives all the way down, and then the highs coming through a bit more, and then compensate here, compensate some more. This is the sound I'm used to hearing in my acoustic guitar. Obviously it doesn't sound like an acoustic guitar, but you know, it doesn't have any of that distortion that you had before. So I think that's absolutely brilliant because I can make my own sound and tailor it completely. And with my real amp, I have to choose the amp carefully that I use. I have to factor these things in. Sometimes they're unavoidable. With these digital things, you can make your own. I think that's so cool. I really do. That's an awesome thing. Okay, so awesome. So I'm going to cut this from the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm signing off. I'll see you tomorrow. I've got Maury Rutch tomorrow and Thursday, and I've got TC Helicon on Friday. So have a great night, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.